Welcome to Sportsbet Daily at Oddsmarket.com. International week this week. So what a good chance for us to look at the UEFA Champions League group stages futures. Good chance to have a little look at these, get the value while you can. Now, we're talking European football, so I need to be having two partners who know everything about European football. I've got Martin and Alex with me. Lads, how we doing?
Hey, Flash. What's up, my man?
Yeah, good. We've got a lot to go through. We've got, obviously, the Champions League group stages that were drawn last week. We're going to have a little look through, have a look at the prices. And if you can flag up the best bets in each group, then we'll be off to a flyer. Alex, we'll start with you. We're going to put up Group A. Real Madrid, PSG, Galatasaray and Club Bruges. Real Madrid 1.95. PSG 2.12, Galatasaray 41, Club Bruges 81. Alex, what do you like in that group?
To tell you the truth, it's really tough to choose between Real Madrid and PSG, both struggling this season. I know that Neymar is back to play for PSG right now. He failed to transfer. He failed to move back to Barcelona, as they say. He will have a bad time against the fans, against the Paris Saint-Germain fans, who will boo him in every match. But after all, they are going again for Champions League, because every year they are going for Champions League because their domestic league is wrapped up from the beginning till the end. So they will win again with a lot of points difference. So their main focus is in Champions League. Real Madrid, also them are struggling. Some injuries there. I don't know who will be fit. If Eden Hazard will be fit for the first match, it will count a lot. How they will start, how they will kick off. I will say I will predict I will not bet it, but my lean is Real Madrid to win the group at 1.95.
Martin, do you like the 1.95 Madrid?
Sorry, just cut out there for a second. No, I'm going for PSG to win this one. I think Real Madrid have had a very sluggish start to the season in La Liga, been dropping all sorts of points. They look low on confidence. I think Zinedine Zidane's got a bit of a job on his hands to integrate a lot of new players and try to squeeze a bit more life out of some of the existing players that he has. I imagine PSG will be very strong at home. I can see them taking 9 points in Paris, picking up more points on the road. I think it's going to be important for Neymar to play well in this competition, as it's a bit of a shop window for him as he tries to justify a good heavy price tag for a move away. Real Madrid often a bit sluggish in the group stage and really come into their own in the knockout phase. So I can find 2.2 on PSG to win the group, and I'm going to go for that.
Okay, and I'll just give you a little insight that everyone in Costa Rica will be cheering on PSG as well, because Keylor Navas made the move from Real Madrid to PSG. Big Costa Rican favourite, the goalkeeper, and he'll be here on Friday night when Costa Rica host Uruguay. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to Group B. Bayern, Tottenham, Olympiacos and Red Star Belgrade. And you can start us off, Martin, but this is my nap. This is my banker of the whole groups. Bayern win 1.6.
Really? Wow. I'm not so sure, to be honest. They've had a bit of a poor summer in the transfer market. I know they made a few decent acquisitions towards the end. Coutinho came in, which is big for them. But I just think Tottenham are always written off in this competition. I know they've started the season poorly domestically, but they were great last time in this competition. They beat Dortmund with ease. They came back against Ajax. They've had good results against Juventus, Real Madrid in this competition recently. I think for odds of 2.75 on Tottenham, I think they'll be good at home. I'm going to go for Spurs 2.75.
Alex, Spurs or Bayern?
Bayern all the way. Barsaman is saying Tottenham to win the group at 2.2 is not at 2.2, is at 2.75. But absolutely, I'm going for Bayern Munich. Yes, they failed to, let's say, bring in huge players. But I like the likes of Coutinho here. I like the wings very much. Lewandowski is a superstar and he will always score. Tottenham, I see them struggling in Champions League. I'm sure that they will qualify from the second place in the knockout stages, but it's a little bit low at 1.62 there, but still is a take for this round of fixtures.
Okay, I mean, there seems to be value. I mean, it's probably the first time when we have a look at Group C, Man City, Atlanta, Shakhtar and Dynamo Zagreb. I'm not drawn to the win. I'm drawn to the qualifier. And Atalanta at 1.72 screams value. Alex?
Yes, absolutely. Atalanta, one of my favorite teams in Italy. They are scoring goals for fun. They brought Luis Muriel from Sevilla, 1.73 with William Hill. Manchester City, I think that they will again have some problems with Shakhtar, like they always had in the last two Champions League stages, on the road, not at home. But I'm sure that Atalanta will get the job done. And I think that Dynamo Zagreb will qualify from the third place in Europa League. We don't have odds for that, but I think that it will be around 3.0 when we will have odds for Dynamo Zagreb to qualify from third place in Europa League from that group.
Martin, do you like the 1.73 Atalanta to qualify?
Yeah, it looks okay to me. I'm going to leave this group alone, though, just because I think Atalanta are novices in this competition. I'm not sure how accustomed they are to playing on all four fronts in the course of the season. I think their squad might get stretched a little bit thin. And Shakhtar Donetsk and Dynamo Zagreb are both difficult places to go to. I can see Man City coasting through this group, and then the other three teams are fighting it out. It just looks a bit shaky to me. Say Man City are already qualified, they might lose to one of the other teams, which could count against Shakhtar. So I'm going to leave this one alone.
Okay, let's move on. This group could have two potential winners in it. Juventus, Group D, Juve, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen and Lokomotiv Moscow. Doesn't seem to be much value anywhere you look under there, unless you go with Madrid to lead Juve. What do you think, Martin?
I think these two teams each other a lot, don't they? They were up against one another in the last year's competition. That great hat-trick from Ronaldo that snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. I think, yeah, you're right. These are two potential winners, probably the two strongest defences in Europe. It's hard to split them, but I think Juventus will go on and win this group. Just too strong with Ronaldo. I think he'll have a point to prove. Very good. Again, I expect them to take maximum points at home. So I'm just going to go for a straight Juventus win, 1.72.
Alex, we look at 1.72 for Juve. What about the 12 for them to win it outright, or 22 for Madrid to win it outright?
12 for Juventus to win it outright, yes, it's a good approach. I always loved this Juventus side since Ronaldo is in, since also other players are in after the summer. But don't write off Bayer Leverkusen to qualify. I think that it will be a major surprise in this group. I have a feeling that it will be a major surprise in this group. And I have Leverkusen to qualify at 3.75. That means one of the first two places. I'm not saying that they will win the group, but I will take a shot with Bayer Leverkusen making a huge game against Juventus at home, also against Atletico at home. So, I don't know. I have a really good feeling about this Leverkusen side. If they will not qualify in the Champions League knockout stages, I'm sure that they will qualify in Europa League from the third place here. But I still fancy them to qualify at 3.75.
But that means one of the two big guns in this group are going to end up in the... So whoever comes third in this group, you think will go a long way in the Europa League?
Yeah, but let's not forget that we have also some other groups with three huge teams. This is why when we previewed the pre-draw, let's say, before the draw, who will win Europa League, I said one from the Champions League third place teams from the groups who will go in the knockout stages in Europa League at 4.0 will win Europa League. that was one of my main bets and one of my favorites also now after seeing the draw on the groups.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a tough Europa League when these boys from the Champions League go across. We're going to go Group E now. Champions of Europe last year, Liverpool. Free scoring Napoli, Salzburg and Genk. Liverpool 1.5. Are they vulnerable against this Napoli side? Alex?
No, I don't think that Liverpool are vulnerable. I think that they will easily win this group. This is a very hard group to predict. Actually, it's very easy, let's say like that. Liverpool first, Napoli second. I don't think that Salzburg and Genk from this group will qualify in Champions League knockout stages. I think that they will fight together. I think that the head-to-head match between Salzburg and Genk will give us the third place from this group. So no value in this group at all.
Martin, are you Liverpool all the way?
Oh yeah, very much so. I got 1.57 on Liverpool to win the group, and I think that looks like great value. I think Anfield's a fortress, as we saw when they beat Barcelona 4-0 last season. The crowd will get behind them. I can see them taking 9 points there. Yeah, they might struggle on the road against Napoli, but I can see them going and beating Salzburg and thrashing Ghent. So I think they'll soar through in that one, and yeah, I can see Napoli getting through in second place.
OK, we're going to move on. Group F. Group of death. One of them are not going to make it to the Champions League knockout stage. Barcelona, Dortmund, Inter Milan and Slavia Prague. I put it to you, Martin, after watching Inter Milan the other day, I don't fancy them to go anywhere near the Champions League knockout stages.
No, Inter Milan are going home for me. Sorry. I'm not rating them particularly highly at all. Once again, it's a bit of an ambitious project. Got a new manager in Conte who knows the league well. Spent a bit of money on some decent players. A couple of Man United cast-offs, actually. I don't see them having the quality to compete with Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund. I think those two should be streets ahead, really. And then it's just a question of who you think is going to finish higher out of Barcelona and Dortmund. I know Dortmund had a bit of a poor result, a very poor result at the weekend, but I think they've started the season well. Barcelona look a little bit shaky, especially if Messi's injured. So I think Dortmund to win the group, 5.5, looks very attractive.
And just as attractive is the 1.66 to qualify. I think they're streets ahead of the other two. And if you're going to stick them in with just say a Liverpool at 1.57, Atalanta at 1.72, and remember Bayern at 1.6. We're starting to put together here a nice little group, lads. Alex, 1.66, that definitely appeals to you.
I love Dortmund and I'm a huge fan, but you said that you don't see Inter going to qualify, but it's just the beginning of the season. You've just seen one match. Now, Alexis Sanchez, you know that he was at Manchester United, Lukaku also at Manchester United. I'm sure that Lukaku will score many goals in the Italian Serie A. They have also a great football player, 24-year-old Stefano Sensi, a midfielder, a great player. You should watch him playing because he's absolutely amazing. I'm sure that Alexis Sanchez will adapt very good in the Italian Serie A. I think that Conte's experience in Champions League will be the key to this group for Inter. And I'm going with the value here. I'm going with Inter to qualify at 2.05. I love Dortmund. I hope they will qualify. I love also Barcelona, but I'm going with the value here because Barcelona are struggling. Rakitic, Dembele are very upset after the crazy Neymar soap opera that happened in the summer. They wanted to sell them or to change them for Neymar to come back. It's a mess what is going on there. So I really think Inter ambitious project will come through from this group.
OK, let's move on to probably one of the two most wide open groups. Group G, RB Leipzig, Lyon, Benfica and Zenit. We've got 3 for Leipzig, 3.25 Lyon, 5 Benfica and 7 Zenit. Alex, how do you split these?
I'm going with Leipzig all the way to win this group at 2.87, sorry, with Bet365. I don't fancy Lyon to do a great job on the road. All teams will struggle in Zenit. It will be a close group. I think that the difference will be maximum 1 point there at the top of the table. But Julian Nagelsmann, the great German coach at RB Leipzig will fight also for the domestic league, and I'm sure that they will go to win this group. They were very lucky to be drawn in this group with Lyon and Benfica. Benfica, a poor domestic league there, just 3-4 teams fighting always for the title. Huge experience, of course, in Champions League, but I fancy RB Leipzig to win this group G.
Martin, we look at Leipzig at the top there at 3, getting the place. Qualify to 1.66. Isn't that just a little bit safer than the 3?
Banker.
Yeah, I think they'll qualify. I think they'll win the group. Lyon obviously looked good last season, but they've lost a couple of key players in Nabil Fekir and Tanguy and Ndombele went to Tottenham, as we know. Zenit are good at home, but I think they'll struggle on the road. And it's not exactly a fortress there anymore in Zenit. And yeah, Benfica lost their best player in Joao Felix. They're always in transition because they're always selling their best players. I think of the teams, RB Leipzig looked like the most solid and the most settled. They didn't have too much turnover in the summer. And Julian Nagelsmann's gone there, and he's got a very good reputation. And I think he's going to do well. So yeah, I can see it might be safer to go for them to qualify, but I got 2-1 actually on them to win the group. I can see it's gone in a bit now, but I would still go at 2.87. I would still go for them to win that group. I think it's a good price.
Okay, well, let's go to the final group, Group H. Pin the towel on the donkey. Chelsea 2.12, Ajax 4.5, Valencia 4.5, LOSC at 12s. I just think close your eyes, pick one of the top 3 and you've got a chance, because I'm not having Chelsea at 2.12 to win this group. What do you reckon, Martin?
Yeah, it's a really tough group. It's a really tough group to call. All 4 teams are pretty unimpressive, to be honest. Obviously, we know how Chelsea have regressed in the summer. They've been defensively poor under Frank Lampard since he took over. But then you look at the other teams. Valencia are okay. They were 4th in La Liga. They've got a good team. But I watched Arsenal play them and hammered them home and away last season. It was pretty poor from them. And then Ajax have gone so far backwards. I know they only lost a couple of players in the summer, but I watched them in qualifying and they were drawing games they should have been winning. I mean, they're lucky to have scraped through to this stage, really. And then, the others are just the whipping boys of the group. So despite myself, I think I might go Chelsea. I just think if they can click into gear with the midfield they've got, Kante, Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, if Lampard can get that defence playing well, he's got a good blend of youth and experience. I don't think they'll go far in this competition. I'd see them getting knocked out in the last 16. But Lille have weakened. Lille sold Pepe to Arsenal. Can't see them doing anything. So it's either Chelsea or Valencia for me, and I'll say Chelsea just to pip them.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Valencia is they don't score enough goals. The problem with Chelsea is they don't keep clean sheets, and they've got too much youth, I think, on the European stage. Alex, have you found, this has got to be a pass from someone like you, surely?
No, I'm not passing this group. I'm not choosing the winners of this group because it's very difficult to choose the winners. I don't like Chelsea at all this season. I think that they brought Frank Lampard just because they are banned from doing transfers. It's a transition there. So when they will start to buy players, I think that Frank Lampard is bye-bye. I'm not seeing him stay there. I think that they will bring an experienced coach. Ajax, unimpressed by Ajax in the qualifying stages, like Martin said. I am very impressed with this Valencia side. They changed a lot since last season, and I'm seeing them qualifying in the knockout stages at 2.0. And actually, this is one of the good bets, like the banker that I had with what we talked
Leipzig.
about earlier, and you said Leipzig to qualify at 1.66. You said that great 1.66, huge value for Leipzig just to qualify, and Valencia to qualify from this group at 2.0.
I wouldn't go against you. We've wrapped up the Champions League group stage futures. Now it's a marathon. There's 12 groups. It's the Europa League group futures. And I look at these boys. I've got Alex, Martin, 12 groups. We're going to start with Group A, Sevilla versus Nicosia, Karabag and Dudelange. Sevilla obviously we're just going to put the winners market because there's no value in just the qualifications. If you can find some, then I'm all ears. Alex, take us away for Group A.
No value in this group. If you can find somehow Karabakh to qualify from this group, but we don't have the odds up. The bookies are not offering us odds like for Champions League to qualify from the group. But I would take Karabakh to qualify from this group, and when it will come up, I think that it will be around 3.0, 2.7, 3.0.
Okay, what about you, Martin? You a Karabag fan?
Not really, no. They did very well to get a couple of draws against Atletico Madrid a couple of years ago, and everyone started raving about them. Since then, their results have been poor. I've bet on them a couple of times, and they've let me down. I'm not a big fan at all. So I just think Sevilla will walk that group, and can't see any other value there, really.
And before we move on, before we move on to Group B, do we see Sevilla as one of the very few teams that could actually go and win this prior and include in the Champions League sides that come across?
No, not for me.
No.
Our good friend Pronosticos Deportivos won't be happy with me saying that, but I think they'll fall just short. If they come up, I always think if these teams come up against Arsenal, and Arsenal probably lose in the latter stages, but I can see Arsenal taking Sevilla over two legs. Maybe Man United as well.
Really, Man United? Wow. Okay, Group B, Dynamo Kiev, Copenhagen, Malmo and Lugano. Wide open group. Alex, are Kiev worthy 2.1?
No. I don't know what to play from this group, but if it is to choose one of the four teams to win this group, I would go with Copenhagen because they have value at 4.0. Not impressed with Dynamo Kiev. Yes, they are good in their domestic league. They are fighting always with Shakhtar. I think that this year they will win their league. But come on, at 2.1, and you have to go with the value here. Copenhagen at 4.0. Also, Malmo are dangerous. Also, Lugano are dangerous. So why not to go with the Copenhagen? Whom they have a new player right now, Bendtner, Sir Bendtner, or how they called him in England.
Lord Nicholas Bendtner of Arsenal.
Yes,
Lord Bendtner.
Nicholas Bendtner. Yeah, exactly.
What, the greatest centre forwards ever played in the Premier League, self-confessed.
Yeah, exactly. Wearer of Paddy Power pants, scorer of great goals in North London derbies. All-round legend. Bit of a tabloid star in Denmark as well, isn't he? He's always going out with this princess and falling out of nightclubs and stuff. He's a character.
We've all done it. We've all done it. I just haven't done the princess bit.
There's still time. Find some Costa Rica princess.
Hey, it's early days. I'm working 2 long hours at the minute. Jeez. Okay, let's move on. I'll tell you what, though, before we go to Group C, Group B looks like nearly every single time these match up in individual games, it's both teams to score. So just remember that. Group B, both teams to score in most of the individual matches. Group C, bit of value flying around here. Getafe at 3, Basel at 4.5, Krasnodar 4.5, Trabzonspor 6. Wide open. Get that pin out and put it on the donkey, Alex.
I'm going. It's another group with both teams to score. If you ask me, you said about Group B, it's the same with Group C. But I have to go with Krasnodar here. I think that they will win all their matches at home, and I think that they will do at least 1 point on the road, and they will win the group at 4.5. Yes, Basel are scoring goals for fun. They are not the same team like last year. Getafe will struggle to play in both both La Liga and the Europa League because they don't have a good bench, so they will for sure struggle. Trips to Trabzonspor are always dangerous in Turkey with the fans and everything, with the crowd. So I have to go with Krasnodar and with the value, 4.5.
And I mean, I looked at this and I thought that Basel might have been the value at 4.5 because I've got big question mark here. Getafe, squad, Krasnodar, travel, Basel, wins at home. It looks like another one of them groups that with a couple of games to go, we're going to have no clue, Martin, on who's going to win.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very wide open group. It's amazing that you can see in this Europa League that some groups have got 4 rubbish teams and some groups have got 4 pretty good teams. I don't know how they do the seeding system for this tournament because something's wrong with it. And you're going to see a lot of decent teams go home and a lot of very poor teams get through to the knockout stage. But I'm with Alex on this one. I think Krasnodar can win it. I was rating Basel quite highly during Champions League qualification. Watched them; they were absolutely dreadful. They're not kings of their domestic league anymore. That honour goes to young boys, and just the nature of Krasnodar's victory over Porto, who are Champions League regulars. That was very impressive. Next up, they were unfortunate. They came up against a very strong Olympiacos side. But I think they'll still take confidence from that. I think it's a very wide open group, so I won't be going too wild with my stake. But yeah, Krasnodar for me as well. Good odds.
OK, we're going to move on to Group D. Just another 645 groups before we get to the end. PSV 2.25, Sporting 2.5, Rosenborg 12 and Lask at 21. It's a flip of the coin, boys. PSV or Sporting? Take us away, Martin.
Oh, if I'm flipping that coin, I will go for PSV. 2.25. I know they lost Luke de Jong, their top scorer, in the summer. He went to Sevilla. But, you know, they're the sort of team, they're always fighting it out with Ajax in their domestic league. They're good in every department, really. Sporting, it's not so long since the entire first team left after crazed fans broke into the training complex and attacked them. So I think they're still sort of recovering from that. And yeah, I know they're into this competition, but that's by virtue of a not particularly strong Portuguese league, and they scraped in. I think PSV can take them here. Not rating Rosenborg highly, I'm afraid.
Alex, we look at this group. PSV, is it starting to become more one of the attractive value bets?
I'm afraid not, because they lost also Irving Lozano, one of their top scorers. He left to Napoli, and I'm afraid there in the attack they remained 1-2 good players, no more than that. I think that they will play head-to-head with Sporting to win the group. I don't have a bet for this group. Rosenborg and Lask Linz will put problems. Most of all, Lask Linz at home will put problems also to PSV, also to Sporting. They might also win their home matches. So if I had some odds for LASK to qualify further from this group, I would take them. I think that at least third place, I'm sure that third place, but I think that if there was a bookie offering odds for LASK qualifying further from this group, it would be around 4.55. So I would take that, because Sporting are very poor. Like Martin said, they are in reconstruction. PSV lost Luke de Jong and also Irving Lozano, 2 of their best players, and they, without bringing no one at that class to them. So LSK with plenty of opportunities for the first time in Europa League to do some damage here.
OK, well, let's move on. Group E, Lazio, Rennes, Celtic and Cluj. Lazio look like one of the stronger favourites in these groups. Rennes at 5.5. Celtic, I can't have them at 5.5. And Cluj. Cluj are not out of this to go through at 12s. Alex?
No, I think that right now Celtic will meet Cluj at home, and I think that they will destroy them a little bit. I think that I will take them with minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap. I don't know Lazio, but also Lazio. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm going with the value here. I'm going with Celtic. Sorry, but I'm going with Celtic at 5.0. Yes,
no,
I'm going
have you come here straight from the pub?
No, I'm not. Maybe I will go after the show, but because they are waiting for me there, and it's just Wednesday, so I'm going to prepare myself for the international break. But no, I'm joking. I'm not going anywhere tonight. But I don't fancy either Lazio, either Rennes to qualify.
Leave it alone
Lazio,
then. Leave it alone.
I will leave it alone, but if it is to go with the value, I'm going with 5.0 for Celtic, you know?
Wow. I didn't think I'd hear you say that. Martin, please tell me that you don't fancy Celtic.
I don't fancy Celtic, I'm afraid. No, I can see Celtic going home. I'm not blown away by Lazio. I think they could probably still just about win it. But I quite like the look of Rennes to qualify. They call it Stade Rennais. They qualified last season. They played Arsenal in the knockout stage. They actually beat Arsenal at home. Arsenal destroyed them in the Emirates, but they look pretty solid. I know they lost Sarr to he went to Watford in the summer for 27 million quid. So that's kind of depleted their attack a bit. But they spent decent money. They bought in Rafinha from Sporting. They bought in Niang from Torino. We know he's pretty dangerous. So I think, and this is a Rennes team that keeps beating PSG. They beat him in the French Cup final. They beat him at the start of this season. They're not awed by any of the big teams. So if I can get odds on them to qualify, I'll be going for that.
So again, that's another one. Go on, Alex.
Before going on to the next group, it's how funny it is a team like Rennes is selling players to Premier League for 27 million pounds there. And second of all, I wanted to say that before the pre-draw, I said that is very good for Celtic to be knocked out of the Champions League group stage and play in Europa. They will not rotate anything because they are flying high in their domestic league. Lazio, like our friend from the chat, Zlatko Vucevic, is saying Lazio will rotate players. This is what the Italian teams are doing in the group stages of Europa League. This is what the Premier League teams are doing in Europa League too. So don't write Celtic off because at home I think that they will beat all three teams. I think that they will also beat Lazio, and I'm going for that when it is to preview that game. And Rennes, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Rennes to qualify from the second place and Lazio not to qualify. I don't know. I think that it will be a huge surprise here. But I really like Celtic at 5.0.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the fact that Celtic haven't got, honest to God, they have an absolute armchair ride in their league and they're not as good. They're just simply not as good. And I can't wait until we get on to their nearest rivals and see how they're going to get on in this Europa League, because I think that's going to be laughable. OK, Group F, Arsenal 1.4. Eintracht Frankfurt 4.5, Victoria 13, Standard Liège 15. Arsenal have got the squad. They seem to have a good buzz about the place at the moment. Very impressed with them against Tottenham at the weekend. Even though they let in two, I thought that they showed really good courage, really good spirit, and on another day they could have won by a couple of goals. Alex, Arsenal win this, don't they?
Only Arsenal, yes. Frankfurt, they were a take if they weren't losing three of their best players. Their attacking trio, Luka Jovic, Sebastian Haller, and now Ante Rebic. Absolutely discussed about this transfer of Eintracht Frankfurt. I don't know what happened there, because losing your attacking trio that you did so much damage last year in both Europa League and also in domestic league, qualifying in Europe, absolutely disgust of what they put together there. So nothing else than Arsenal to maybe in a parlay with Arsenal at 1.4 to win this group.
Martin, 1.4 seems like one of the more generous prices for a side that look like they've got it all to lose and nothing to win, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
I
But at
can't see
1.6
anyone-
also there.
We've got 1.6 for them to win it?
Yeah, to a Unibet right now.
Wow. 1.6 for you, Martin, yeah?
Yeah, I can't see anyone stopping Arsenal winning this group. How does that happen? A team like Eintracht Frankfurt sell their best three forwards in the summer. You just rip the heart out of your team, particularly when they weren't good defensively last season. They were all about winning 3-2, 4-3. They were all about high-scoring games and blowing teams away going forwards. They've just lost all the danger from their side. So, yeah, I think they could have given Arsenal a run for their money last time around, but not this season. Arsenal, I know they've offloaded quite a few players in the summer, but still think they've got a decent squad. We'll see some good youngsters like Sacco come in and playing in this. Can see Mesut Ozil getting a run out. Lacazette could probably start up front. That's going to be enough to see them through this group, I think. They should win all their home games and get a couple of results on the road as well. So I'll go for Arsenal.
Okay, on the back of Celtic in Group E. We're going to go on to Group G. Porto, Feyenoord, Rangers and Young Boys. I'm going to beat up on Rangers home and away in this group. I don't really fancy Porto neither, even though they've got Champions League pedigree. So is Feyenoord, Martin, is Feyenoord the value?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I could see them. I could see them maybe going through. This group does look difficult to me. I'm not feeling Rangers either. They have made improvements under Steven Gerrard, but they're still a team very much in transition. And their best player just gets sent off all the time. They're not a great side. Porto, it has to be Porto, really. I know they did poorly in Champions League qualifying, but they have the European pedigree. So, but Young Boys are a decent side, can probably get some results at home. So I'd probably steer away from this group because I think it looks a bit tricky. Maybe a small stake on Porto to win and Feyenoord to qualify, but yeah, it doesn't really appeal too much for me, this one.
Well, I looked at this group, Alex. I saw Porto start with 9 points. They win their home games. Not so clever when they're on the road. I think Young Boys and Feyenoord, they'll both win some of their home games. I just see Rangers. I can't see them winning home or away. What do you think?
Yeah, Porto all the way for me to win this group at even money. And again, I don't really understand why Young Boys are the underdogs in this group at 7.0, because I'm sure that they are. I'm sure they are better than Rangers right now. Come on. And I think that they are on the same level with the Feyenoord. So I think that when the bookies will offer us some sets of odds for who will qualify from this group, I will take Young Boys, and I think that it will be around 2.5.
Yeah, I think that's going to be great value if you can get more than 2.5 on them to qualify when they start having a look at the qualifications. Let's go to Group H, because I think that there's going to be a bit of Alex value here. Group H, Espanyol 2.25, CSKA at 3, Ludogorets at 9, Ferencváros at 18s. Alex, take me away. I bet you like CSKA.
Yeah, it will be again when you're traveling in Russia. It will be tough. I'm sure that Espanyol will play some of their bench players. They will rotate the squad in Europa League in the first matches. Ludogorets, it will be a tough nut to crack at home in Bulgaria. I fancy them to do some draw matches or even to win against a team like Espanyol or Moscow. It's a complicated group, and if it is to go with the value, or go with CSK Moscow to win the group at 2.62. But I think that Ludogorets will give them a tough time to both Espanyol and Moscow, and I think that Ferencváros will win maximum 1 point from this group.
Martin, when we look at this group, is CSKA's travelling form, away form, the only stumbling block for them to win this group?
Yeah, I guess so, but it's probably a double-edged sword because they're also very strong at home, and it's a very difficult place for opposing teams to go, particularly in winter when it grips. It's going to be very difficult for some of these other teams to go there. So yeah, I think the value is all with them. Not a particularly great group. I'll go with them to win it. I don't rate them all that highly, but it's more just my general disregard for the other teams in the group. Don't rate Espanyol at all, and the other two are kind of European minnows. So it's looking like CSKA for me.
Okay, we're going to move on. Group I, Wolfsburg, St Etienne, Ghent and Alexandria. 2.1 the favourites here at Wolfsburg. St Etienne 3.5. Toss of a coin, or are you a Wolfsburg fan, Martin?
Toss of a coin, to be honest. Yeah, I know Saint Etienne were very good at home last season. Had quite a lot of action riding on them, and they did well for me. But yeah, I haven't been overly impressed with them so far this time around. I think Wolfsburg are a very unpredictable side, so I'm afraid I have to steer well clear of this group.
Alex, Bundesliga or Liga?
Proximus League, Jupiler League, sorry, in Belgium, Ghent. Not to win the group. I don't fancy them to win the group, but I fancy them to qualify further in the knockout stages. I'm very mad that the bookies are not offering us prices for like in Champions League who will qualify from the group stage, because this is one of my favorite bets. Ghent to qualify from this group, and hopefully we will find that at 2.7, 3.0 from this tough group. Exactly a flip of a coin. I don't rate Saint Etienne or Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg, yes, they are great at home. Most of all in their domestic league, they might beat anyone. Also, they might beat Bayern or Borussia Dortmund this year. I think that they will give them huge headaches. But Europa League is another animal here. Yeah, I think that Ghent can qualify from this group.
Okay, I'm feeling there might be a futures qualification show on its own coming up once the bookies decide to put some prices up. Let's go Group J. AS Roma, Mönchengladbach, Istanbul, Başakşehir and Wolfsberger. Not to get confused with Wolfsburg. AS Roma 1.91, Mönchengladbach 3.25. Probably don't look any further than that. Alex?
Now, if it is to go with the value, you're going with Gladbach at 3.25. Roma will struggle this season, and I think that they will focus on the Italian Serie A. They know that they cannot win this competition at the squad that they have right now. The big guns from Champions League will come and they will beat them in the knockout stages. I don't know, to win the group 3.25 Borussia Mönchengladbach. Yes, with the short bench, also Gladbach there. Oh, pass.
Don't blame you, Martin.
Yeah, I'll go with Roma. I know they're not great. Defense looks a bit lackluster, but Edin Dzeko, Zaniolo, Justin Kluivert, that's enough for me to get past a Mönchengladbach side that I don't rate that highly. Watched them lose 3-1 to Leipzig at the weekend. Had a great home record last season, which catapulted them up the table. Fell away a bit towards the end of the campaign, and I don't think they're as strong this season. I think they've got a few good Swiss players, Bril Embolo, Jan Sommer, but I think overall Roma's quality is just a little bit superior. So I'll go for Roma 1.91.
Okay, we're going to move on to Group K now, and I think this is probably one of my favourites. I think this Wolves side are absolutely made for Europa football. Wolves at 2, Besiktas at 4, Braga 4.75, and Bratislava at 21. Martin, Wolves littered with European players. Been impressed with them so far. Will you take the 2?
Yeah, I can even get 2.25 or 2.38 at some bookies, which is very, very generous. I know Besiktas isn't an easy place to go, but come on, Braga? Nah. Slovan Bratislava? Not feeling either of those two teams. This Wolves side took Torino apart over 2 legs in qualifying. very, very strong. Spent a lot of money on the squad. And I know they've started slowly in the domestic league. They've only taken 3 points from their first 4 games, but I expect them to shoot up the table in the weeks ahead. Lots of very, very technically proficient Portuguese players, very good defensively. I say they cruise this group and great odds.
Yeah, I mean, they just stood out. I was like, wow. I mean, it was just like, have I misread? Obviously, I did misread because I wrote down that the odds were 2 and now you're finding 2.38. What about you, Alex? Wolves all the way?
Bargain, like James Pomeroy is saying on the chat, bargain. 2.1 with William Hill, 2.25 with Bet365, 2.38 with Bet Victor. So, yeah, take them from now because I'm sure that they will win 9 points at home. And I think that at least 2 on the road, if not 3. I think that it's the kind of team that they might win 12 points at least from this kind of group. Beşiktaş, not the best squad in Turkey right now. Braga, I think that they will win them also at home, also on the road. Slovan at home, they will win them. In Bratislava, it will be tough, but I think that they might win also 1 point from there. So yeah, banker from this Europa League, Wolves at 2.38 to qualify to win the group.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, marathon nearly over. We can see the finishing line. Group L, Man United 1.33, AZ Alkmaar 8, Partizan 18, FC Astana 26. I really would love to oppose Man United here, but they've just been given a dream run. Alex.
Exactly, but if they were in the group with, I don't know, with Ghent or with some other teams more interesting like these ones, I still think that they will have a tough trip at Partizan in Belgrade. I still think that AZ Alkmaar will put them problems on the road in the Netherlands. Astana, I'm not saying that is a tough travel and they will play on an artificial pitch, so which is very bad for Manchester United and for all the professional players in general. Yeah, no value at 1.33. I don't know, nothing to take from here. I would fancy Belgrade to qualify from this group, probably at 2.75 when the odds will open.
Martin, was you hoping that Man United got a tougher group just so you could oppose them?
Yeah, I mean, I wish they'd gone in that group with, what was it, with Basel and everyone. That would be, Basel, Krasnodar and Trabzonspor. That might have given them a bit of problems. But, just god-awful teams in this group with them. Can't see them having, I know they're not a great side, but can't see them having much trouble against Alkmaar, Partizan and Astana. They're the outright favourites to win this competition. So if you're opposing them, get on an exchange and sell on them to win this competition, and you can make some good money because people are backing them. I think
I've got them at 6 to win the competition, and obviously I can't even see how, where, what, who would want to be involved with them at 6 when you can have one of the Champions League sides to come in at 4. I mean, it makes no sense going anywhere near Man United.
Yeah, it just depends on who's going to drop down. It's difficult at this stage. I mean, like Alex said, he thinks that Atletico or Juventus might drop down. If one of those goes into this competition, they're the heavy favourites to win it. But if all the teams that you would expect to go through, and the third best team in each Champions League group drops down, Man United will still be the favourites to win this competition. I don't think they will, but they would still be the favourites out of it.
I would have Arsenal and Sevilla. I'd have Arsenal and Sevilla over Man United if the dross came across.
Yeah, I'd go
Wolves,
Arsenal.
maybe.
I know we got hammered by Chelsea in the final last year, but semi-finals 2 years ago, final last year, maybe it's their time.
Yeah, maybe. Listen, lads, I know it was a long one. Thanks as always. Great insight there. Hope we've posted some good value bets. Just quickly, go back to Champions League. Who's your winner, Alex? Give me 2 teams.
Winner of the competition?
Yeah, like we did last year when I gave you Liverpool.
Yeah, I would say Juventus. I don't know the price. Wait, let me
11.
check. At
12.
12?
12, yeah.
At 12, Juventus, and I would say Liverpool at 8.
Okay, Martin?
Yeah, snap. Liverpool, top team for me, and Juventus would be my second choice. I think Anfield's a fortress, very difficult place to go to. 2 Champions League finals in a row, excellent side, all the right age. And yeah, I think Juventus is the best place to stop them with their strong defence and Ronaldo up front.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of Juventus and Manchester City. I think Man City's year this year, just sort out that back line. Make sure that you're a little bit more patient and just don't keep going for goals. Lads, until next time, I'll see you soon. Brilliant.
Cheers. Thank you for the invitation.
Over and out. That was Alex and Martin. Coming up tomorrow, I've got UFC 242 with 2 of my favourites, Jason and Dave. Semi-finals of the US Open means Snies, who's in love with Andrescu, and Tennis Pilot. They've done unbelievably well. There's only 3 or 4 days to go, and they'll be looking to cash in. And there's a short lower league show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, with myself and Big Man, because a lot of the sides have got international players, but we'll still be covering League One, League Two. Find the value, and I'll see you tomorrow.